Welcome to Real Estate with Corinne. I'm Corinne Kern, broker with Bighorn Real Estate in Billings, Montana. And in today's video, I'm going to take us on a driving tour of a few neighborhoods out on the west end of Billings. We're going to start off our tour in the Rimrock West estates. Now this is going to be a little bit more of an established neighborhood, and then we'll move into two adjacent neighborhoods, the first of which will be River Rock Estates, and then we'll move over into Silver Creek Estates. And I'm really excited to show these to you. I think this location is incredibly fantastic if you want to be on the west end, but not too terribly far out. So let's get started with our tour and hope you enjoy. So here we've got Google Earth, and you'll notice that I have landmarked the Rimrock West Park here. And that park is really great. It's got play area, a wonderful walking trail around it, but it's right in the center of the neighborhoods that we're going to be talking about. So as I get zoomed out here, I will first show you kind of the location of the Rimrock West, and that's what we already see developed. And as soon as I get my cursor up here, so this right here is Rimrock West, and then we'll move into River Rock Estates. And you'll notice that most of that is showing as farm ground, but a lot of that has been developed. And then we'll move into Silver Creek Estates. And that too is being developed. There are quite a few lots still available for sale with the ability to build on those. So some really great options if you really like this area. And we're going to start off the tour here on Shiloh Road. Now, Shiloh is one of the main thoroughfares on the west end of Billings. It's what connects you over to the interstate. And from there, we're going to turn on to Polly. So those are going to just be some landmark roads for when you find these neighborhoods and subdivisions. And moving into Rimrock West, I'll just point out that the style of homes in this neighborhood do tend to be a little bit more traditional, and it is a little bit more of an established neighborhood of the three. So you'll definitely see more trees and a little bit more mature landscaping as we move throughout this area. And I will share with you that within the last year, we've seen some price ranges go as high as about $929,000 for sales price. Lowest sales price in Rimrock West was $443,800, and our median price point fell at about $552,000. So it definitely is a moderate to higher end subdivision for Billings. But I think that is also reflected in the size of those properties. Looking at most of these properties that sold, they range anywhere from, I think the smallest was 4 to 5 bedroom, a lot of them up to 6 bedroom. And square footage is averaging about 4,500 square feet. So you'll notice there are a good number of these that are ranch style. Most of them are going to have full basements, but you'll tend to have a little bit more traditional style of home here. So now we're going to move on to River Rock Estates. And there's definitely still some building going on here, but with this being a little bit newer than Rimrock West, you'll see a little bit of change in the style of homes. There's a little bit more contemporary style, and we do still see some traditional. What's interesting is we do see a little bit more variation in type of property of ranch style versus 2-story. Here we're coming up on a 2-story property. And so, but square footage is going to be probably around that 3,500 to 4,500 square foot range. Price point in this area is probably going to hit about the mid 500s. And that's true for some of the new builds as well. It really depends on how custom you go with your finishes. That is a huge factor in pricing on new builds. But both this area and then the next area that we're going to move into have lots available, the ability to build and really make something just as custom as you'd like. One of the reasons that I chose this subdivision, and I have failed to mention it yet, is the location. It is on the west end, but it is, in my opinion, a really convenient location on the west end. This is going to be connected to city services. You are right off of Shiloh, which I mentioned is kind of a main thoroughfare and a connector over to the interstate. But unlike some of the other West End subdivisions, this is much more interior than those. And for anyone that needs to commute to downtown Billings or maybe even up to the Heights or anywhere that isn't on the West End, I think this location still gives you the opportunity to live there and in a really convenient location. But now we're going to move into Silver Creek Estates, and it looks like they're doing some construction right off the bat. But you'll see here again, homes in this area are going to be very similar. Really, I kind of consider this and River Rock to be one and the same, but they are named two different subdivisions, so I do want to make sure I point that out. But the homes are really going to be very similar as we move throughout, and look at the view of those rims. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. I think that's one of the absolute gems of living in Billings is the rims. And if you haven't visited Billings yet, I will just plug that you should definitely check those out when you get here. But as we turn the corner, you'll start to see there's still some vacant lots over on this end of Silver Creek, and it extends for quite a ways. I don't have the number of lots available, but I do think that for anyone that is looking to build and their price point is, up to about $550, maybe even up to $600,000. I think this would be a fantastic area to build in, and I think it's going to be a subdivision that will hold its value well and really be worth it. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this helpful. And if you're looking to make a move to the Billings area, please feel free to leave a comment below, or I've also included all of my contact information in the description box. Feel free to email, call, or text me. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have about the greater Billings real estate market, any subdivisions, or anything that might be real estate related that helps you make a decision with your move. And if you're new to my channel, please be sure to check out my other videos. I've got some other tours of different neighborhoods throughout Billings, slowly working on that and trying to get as many tours up for you to view. And I've also just got some great information about real estate in Montana and things to take into consideration whether you're a buyer or a seller. So I appreciate everyone watching, and we'll see you next Tuesday.